Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic / non-classic. This is episode number 2511 and Doubleshot number 20. I think it's 2405. Yes, we're here discussing a mini-series that I consider to be one of the best mini-series I have ever read for Silver Surfer. This is Silver Surfer Requiem, written by J. Michael Sorzinski, the creator of Babylon 5, and the writers of books, basically writer of these following comic books: Amazing Spider-Man, The Awful One More Day, Thor, Suitman Earth 1, Suitman Grounded, most of it, Wonder Woman Odyssey. Current writer for Captain America. Yep. Yeah, that's your writers for you. And the artwork is by Asik Rubik. Yes. Oh yeah, and also, here's the thing with Marvel. He also is the creator of the Supreme Power books. Yep. Yes, he is. When it comes to his Marvel works, well, here's what I've covered so far. Well, before I talk about this one, I've covered so far his work with Amazing Spider-Man, Strange, Fantastic Four, and Thor. Oh yeah, I've also covered the 12 as well. So there's not a lot left to go for him per se. Not really, no. You're probably asking, what is there left to go for JMS? Well, there is the Supreme Power book, the original book, Supreme Power Hyperion, Squad Supreme Volume 2, Ultimate Power, yes, this book, Dream Police, The Book of Lost Souls, Bullet Points, and Ultimate Civil War Spider-Ham. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Mostly it's just a couple ongoing series and a few mini-series. That's pretty much it. Silver Surfer Requiem, now Asik Rubik. Those of you not familiar with this guy's artwork. This guy basically did a really good run on Thor. He's the co-creator of Gore the God Butcher. Yes, and aside from this very book, these are the books he's also worked on. He also worked on the original Children of the Atom mini-series. Yes, he did. He did an annual for Uncanny X, and I think he did the penultimate annual, so I guess it released for about 6 years. There will be another one of these Marvel Knights books for him to work on. I'll be talking about in the future, don't worry about that. He did do also the arc for Dark Reign, The List, Wolverine, X-Men Second Coming, Chapter 2. He did 3 issues of Kenny X-Force. He did the Deathlok Age, which was really good. He did the opening 9 issues of Ultimate Comics Ultimates, which I have reviewed. Most of God Thunder, except for issues 6, 12 through 18, and I think just those issues. He did 1 issue of Avengers, 1 issue of Volume 5, Battle Day number 2, Civil War number 8, the entirety of the Secret Wars miniseries, the 2015 version. He did King Thor, Conan the Barbarian Exodus. The most recent book he worked on was Eternals, which since wrapped up. Of all the books he's worked on over the years, the other books I have reviewed, the original miniseries, I think I reviewed this one. Oh yeah, he also worked on the miniseries The Brotherhood, which do Brotherhood. The Kenny X-Men Annual 24, Ultimate X-Men, Dark Reign, The List, Wolverine, Second Coming, Uncanny X-Force, Ultimate Comics Ultimates, Thor: God of Thunder, Battle of the Atom, the Avengers issue, Secret War, Civil War 2, Unworthy Thor, King Thor, and Eternals. That's pretty much it. If you're curious, is there any books working currently? Not currently, not that I can think of, no. But mostly put Asik Rubik, who is... Okay, so he's an artist from the country of it's in Central Europe. It's this. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, looks like it was. Yeah, it was part of the. It was part of Yugoslavia. It's pronounced Croatia. I'm sorry to pronounce the name of your country, man, but that's the best I can do. Yeah, the country itself, mostly put, basically, is around in the early 20th century, but yeah, that's where he's from. Yeah, he's from a country that was part of Yugoslavia, which basically that's the country since split up into 7 different countries. Its shape is really weird. Yeah, and how do I mean really weird? Okay, I'm looking at a map of it. It's basically, it looks like it's east of Italy. Yeah, basically where it is, um, yeah, it's next to, let's see, it's near Italy, but there's a small country between it. I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, so what other countries are, I'm not really sure. But anyways, this miniseries is mostly put Silver Surfer, where he is basically, it's not exactly wandering Earth per se, it's just him where he, in the first issue, he interacts with the Fantastic Four in his gorgeous artwork by Edison Rubik. And can you believe this book only came out back in 2007? Yeah, this is a 16-year-old comic book. And damn, this looks so freaking good. Oh no, the sky is red. It's like, he just shows up here because he just has to deal with the fact that he's possibly dying. Yeah, that's the story. And we see Galactus is, yeah. I'm showing off how gorgeous his artwork is. It's even a flashback of how he became Silver Surfer mostly. Which various battles in the middle over the years. And this most of it is all about him possibly dying. And that is the story of this miniseries. That Silver Surfer will be dying. Mm-hmm. Yep. And don't worry, he's still very much alive because he's still got miniseries. Because he's got some disease and so basically the whole other thing is he wants to go home. Also, here's Esser when he draws Spider-Man, who apparently has got blacked out eyes for some reason. Think about it with the design of the cost. Like, wait, is that the Spider-Man suit? And here's the thing. No, that's not the Spirit-Spider-Man. It's colored like it, yes. But that's not it. You want to know why? Because Spirit-Spider-Man didn't show up until 6 years later. No joke. 6 years later after this, that's when Spirit-Spider-Man came out. Yep. Yeah. And mostly put basically to Silver Surfer to sit witness him around the Earth. And so the first issue was all about interacting with Fantastic Four. Now Spider-Man, of course. And also, here's something. Yeah, Peter Parker takes off his mask. Spider-Man takes off his mask, reveals Peter Parker. And then, of course, Silver Surfer leaves at the end of issue 2. And then issue 3, he's going home. So, then he has a scene with Doctor Strange. Yep. Doctor Strange himself. So, yeah, it's like people he's known. He just really, like, he just plans to go home. And he does this, he sees this space battle, of course. Yep. Yeah, and then of course he's going home. In the next issue, basically, does he arrive at Zenn-La per se in the last issue? Like basically he's going home, and eventually he kind of in a way is home. By the final issue of the book, yeah, he's back in Zenn-La, the planet he saved when he became a hero of Galactus. Yep. So then, of course, it's like the subject he got home. He's back with Galactus once again. But is the planet destroyed? Yeah. Well, another planet is destroyed. Then we see possibly him dying. Then we see Spider-Man, Reed and Sue, Doctor Strange, and then we see the Watcher witnessing all this, and that's the miniseries in a nutshell. This is really, really good. And I really hope this got an award because this was just awesome. Every single issue was really good. Nothing was bad. I really wish basically that some people would talk about this miniseries because this miniseries is so good. Like, it is shockingly so good. JMS and Edgar Rubik did an excellent job with this miniseries. And for a series that came out in the 2000s, I'm going to give this miniseries a 10 out of 10. It is that damn good. Yep. Alright, next up we have is Marvel Masterworks, The Submariner, Volume 5. Which collect issues 26 to 38 of the very first volume for Submariner. First ongoing book that's not Submariner Comics. And K's number 1. Now, this K's number 1 is actually not Volume 1 number 1 because that's actually a reprint. This actually is from Volume 2. And this book doesn't even feature Silver Surfer anymore at all. By the way, all the issues of the book is written by Roy Thomas for Submariner. K's book is by Alan Borowski. Sal Bushman does the artwork for all the main issues except for the last two. Last season are by Russ Audrew. Frank Speller does the artwork for K's number 1. The Submariner issues have basically moved out of the 1960s finally, and now we're in the 1970s, which these issues did come out in the period of June of 1970 to include in June 1971. Good job for a 13-issue book. Now, there will be at least 2 books I'm not discussing here, and that'll be issues 34 and 35. The reason I'm discussing these issues, well, the main reason why I'm not discussing these 2 issues is because I've discussed issues already as part of all things, the Defenders Epic Collection. Yes, the very first one did collect these issues. And finally, we're on some issues, basically, I have not discussed before ever in a comic corner. Nope, not really. I mean, is there anything unique about these issues per se? Well, first issue, we have Red Raven show up. But this actually is a fake. Yeah, this Red Raven last showed up in X-Men 44. He shows up here. He apparently dies. But he does return years later in the 90s in Marvel Superheroes number 8. Yeah, and it turns out this actually is a fake. It's a construct. Yeah. And then we have the real Red Raven, or one of them anyways, pop in this book. Though this Red Raven got killed off in Avengers Arena. I'll be discussing in the future. Don't worry about that. So after basically now, Dan Arles is in this issue, but Lady Dorma is not here. And then we have in issue 27, where he takes on Commander Kraken. And he is, well, he does. Now here's the thing about him. After this one issue, he next pops up in the Cat. Yep. Then appear in Iron Man, for a couple issues, and then he gets killed off in Captain America. Yeah. So basically Namor fighting him for one issue, and then like the very next issue, he fights a one-shot character named Scott Westman. Yeah. And in issue 29, which this comes after the Kazar issue, which features Hercules. Yet for some reason this actually is for some reason they included this in here. I'm not sure why. Okay, so this actually was from this wasn't the very first volume of the book. Okay. But this was a backup story. Yes, a backup story. So it's like, okay, so let's basically have Hercules fights a group of people called the Huntsmen, and then of course have it continue in Submariner. It's really weird the fact they included this issue in this book, which has nothing to do with it at all. And after dealing with that, and then issue 30 teams up with Captain Marvel, a one-shot villain named Mark Magnum. Captain Marvel for his issue in here. Let's see if I can find the actual thing. Because like, sometimes basically when I click on something, it goes to something else. Let's see. What was the book he appeared in part of this Submariner book? This actually was his very first comic he appeared in just after this book went hiatus for a couple years. Yep, so his last appearance was in actually Captain Marvel 21. His next appearance actually in Avengers as part of the Kree Skrull War stuff. Yep. And then in 31, Atuma returns with Triton here as well as Stingray. Now, Atuma last showed up back in issue 4 of this very book. Sunstand also popped up in that issue 2. Their next appearance is not to issue 36. And also first appearance of Wartime Border, which are basically just two thugs who work for Atuma. But it's great to see Atuma back in the book. Mm-hmm. Yep, and then the first appearance of Lyra. Oh boy, this woman here. A woman who, well, becomes a very hated woman for Namor. We also have the first appearance of Lyra's mother, Rhonda Morris. And she's only here for a couple issues. Yeah. And in 33, we have basically them taking on Krang again. Krang last appeared back in issue 24 of this very book. And of course, Dr. Taurus. And Lord Byron last appeared back in Tales of Astonish 91. And then 34 and 35 is simply put the Titanic 3 issues, which discuss issues already. And then, of course, 36 happened. 36 was the wedding of Namor and Lady Dorma. Except that he didn't marry Lady Dorma. He married Lyra. But legally, he was still married to Lady Dorma, despite the fact he had Lyra posing as her. And he's like, where is Dorma? Yeah, she murders her in the next issue. Yep, Dorma gets killed off. Yeah, and as for Lyra herself, well, her next appearance will be to issue 43. And Atuma's here too. He next appears in Defenders number 7. Yeah, and so Namor's love interest, Lady Dorma, who's been here, like, in the comics at this point in time, since the debut of Namor back in Motion Picture Funnies Weekly. That was her very first appearance. And she's been there for a long time. Now, I'm not really sure of exactly why in the world they decided to kill her off, but they did. In a way, I kind of think that she's probably Mara's version of Mira. In a way, very beautiful woman from the sea, except doesn't have the blue skin. Like, she has blue skin, unlike, let's say, unlike, let's say, Mira, for example, but basically a woman who was Namor's very first wife. And solo-wise, she's been there in the comics since he first got his solo book. Yeah, ever since Daredevil 7, that's kind of where they started with. And then on Tales Dawn, she's been there since the beginning. His first solo story being in 1965, so she's been there since 1965. And then sadly put, she dies in this very issue. After 6 years being around in the comics, they kill her off. And then, like, the very next issue, Namor is basically, like, they have his backstory revealed. And then, like, Dorma is gone. For good. And I tend to think, though, like, I tend to ask, like, why the heck would they kill off her for? Lyra herself basically was just a woman who didn't like Namor very much at all. Because she really wanted to basically tick him off. Yeah, and here's the thing, though. She would still be a recurring villain in the book. But she was not appearing around, like, not long at the book issue. She would continue to appear in the book for a little while. Like, after issue 38, she disappears a little while. Comes back for a brief run. And then she pops up in Spider-Man, Defenders, all of their stuff. Her most recent appearance actually was in one of the Mystic Arcane one-shots, Sister Grimm. That's the most recent thing she appeared in. But she is one of the, she's a recurring villain who just is a very personal for Namor because basically she murdered his wife. Yeah, and here's the thing. Namor would not meet his second wife, who is an alien, by the way. Yes, his second wife is an alien. Marina, who is happily still very much alive. Yeah. And I think the first time possibly they met was Avengers 39, which came out in 1986. So you gotta thank John Byrne for hooking these two up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And here's the thing, she's very much alive in the comics. Yeah, she is. She's not renamed Namor yet. Not really. Her most recent appearance actually was an Alpha Flight True North one shot. Yep, that was her most recent appearance to date that she's made. That's, of course, Marna, of course. But in the case of this book overall, it's really good. And if you're really curious, okay, because we got 38. How many more issues left to go for Namor? The very first Namor book, Submariner. At this point, excuse me. Let's see. Last issue was 72, so let's see. 30 be 42. Take away 8. I think I have about 34 issues left to go. So basically, am I halfway through? Possibly yes, but I'd say I'm probably like a little over halfway through this book. Possibly yes. Okay, so that's pretty much it for particular view. And that's going to be a video tonight. So stay tuned for tomorrow for videos. Okay, next video. Bye.